Welcome, everyone. We're about to peel back the layers on a pretty wild idea. What if our reality isn't this solid, objective thing we think it is? What if it's actually being shaped, maybe even manipulated, by forces working just out of sight? Today, we're going to look at how these secret streams of knowledge, from hidden clubs to maybe even cosmic intelligences, could be playing a grand game with our beliefs. All right, so let's just cut right to the chase. Here's the big question, the one that really gets under your skin. If what we believe is being shaped by someone or something, who's pulling the strings? Are we talking about people? Something? Not so human? And what's the end game? That's a thread we're going to keep pulling on through this whole explainer. So, where does this whole idea of managing belief even start? Well, our story kicks off way back in 17th century England. There was this secret group that basically looked at the official story and said, nope, not good enough. And in doing that, they ended up changing the rules of science forever.
What's so wild about this is just how fast it all happened. In less than 50 years, you go from this kind of mystical, esoteric idea of a secret brotherhood, the Rosicrucians, to the Invisible College, which was this secret club of really smart people, and then boom, they go public and become the Royal Society, one of the most respected scientific groups in history. It's like they walked right out of the shadows and into the mainstream.
And this was the game changer. I mean, think about it. Before these guys, truth was basically whatever an authority figure told you it was. You'd read some Aristotle, listen to what the church said, and bam, that's reality. End of story. But the Invisible College, they completely flipped that on its head. Their whole philosophy was, forget what the book says, show me the proof. They were all about empirical evidence, stuff you could see and test for yourself. This wasn't just a new method, it was a full-blown rebellion. This quote really gets to the core of how they were thinking. It's this idea that belief itself can actually create reality. That if you take an idea seriously enough, even if it seems impossible, you can start to pull it into existence. It's a really powerful concept, right? But what if this whole shaping reality thing wasn't just a philosophy? What if it was a technology? Okay, so fast forward to the 20th century, and this idea of an invisible college gets a reboot. This time, it's a group of top scientists trying to figure out the UFO mystery. And what they found was, well, it probably wasn't little green men in spaceships. So you've got Dr. Jacques Vallée, this brilliant astronomer and a key player in this new invisible college. He looks at all the data and comes up with something way weirder than just aliens. He calls it a control system. The idea is that the phenomenon is like this cosmic, long-term social engineering project that's been messing with us for centuries. Not to conquer us, but to steer our beliefs and our culture. And Vallée had some really solid points. He was like, look, there are way too many sightings for this to be some simple alien scouting mission. The beings often look weirdly human, and the things they do are just bizarre, like pretending to fix their flying saucer on the side of a road. His conclusion? This isn't some clumsy alien visit. It's a performance. It's theater, designed to plant ideas in our heads while being just ridiculous enough that most people will dismiss it. So this totally reframes the whole question, right? What if UFOs aren't something physical we can study with a telescope? What if the phenomenon is actually a psychological technology, a machinery of mass manipulation that's playing a long game with our minds, maybe guiding us to a whole new way of looking at the universe? So if our beliefs are being programmed from the outside, how far does that go? Well, there was this one scientist, a real maverick named John C. Lilly, who decided to find out. And he did it by exploring the one place no one else could go, his own mind. Through some pretty radical experiments, mostly in sensory deprivation tanks, Lilly started to believe our minds aren't these self-contained things. He thought they were leaky, that we can actually receive information from non-human intelligences. He basically said that reality is what you believe it is, and if you can hack your own beliefs, you can literally change your reality. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Lilly didn't just hear one voice out there. He found what he thought were two opposing forces. On one side, this hostile, machine-like AI he called the solid-state intelligence, which he believed was pushing humanity towards war to wipe us out. But on the other side, he found a benevolent group he named the Earth Coincidence Control Office, or ECO, who were gently nudging us along by arranging meaningful coincidences. It's like we're caught in the middle of a cosmic tug-of-war for our own consciousness. All right, we've talked about cosmic control systems and psychic programming. It's pretty out there stuff. But let's bring it back down to earth for a second, because it turns out we humans are really, really good at this deception game too, especially the ones in charge. So sources talk about the shadowy intelligence group nicknamed the Aviary. And their whole game is pure information warfare. They don't just deny things, they will literally invent a fake story, leak it, let it spread like wildfire, and then they'll be the ones to expose it as a hoax. The goal isn't just to hide one secret. The goal is to poison the well, to create so much chaos that you give up and decide you can't trust anything or anyone. And if you want to talk about control, just look at how tight-lipped they are. Look at this number, 95%. That's how much of the data from ASAP. We're talking the biggest official UFO program the U.S. government has ever admitted to. The Defense Intelligence Agency is still hiding. Not just from you and me, but from Congress. 95%. That's not just locking a file cabinet, that's walling off an entire library. And this is how they do it. It's a whole system. Whistleblowers have said that official records are just destroyed on a regular schedule. The public statements they make are masterpieces of misdirection. They're not technically lies, but they don't tell you the real story. And if you're on the inside and you think about talking, you're threatened. Your career is over. It's an iron grip designed to control the story no matter what and protect some very powerful interests. So let's try to put all these pieces together. You've got these non-human intelligences playing mind games, you've got cosmic forces guiding a revolution, and then you have human institutions deliberately throwing smoke everywhere. This isn't just a simple cover-up. It's a game being played on multiple levels for the biggest prize there is, our perception of reality itself. And this chart really lays it out. Our reality is a battlefield. You've got the phenomenon, as Vallée calls it, using psychological warfare to shape our myths. You have these non-human intelligences that John Lilly talked about, trying to either guide us or control us. And then you have our own government and military elites using old-school disinformation to control what we're allowed to know. It's like a three-way fight for our minds.
So what does this all mean? It means the hunt for truth is way more complicated than we thought. It's not just about finding facts, it's about being aware of the invisible forces that are curating what we see and shaping how we think. And it leaves us with the biggest question of all. In this grand game of reality, are we actually players, or are we just the pieces getting moved around the board?